Hello, everyone. My name is Holly, and I will be the language teacher for this hour, as specifically for English. The topic that we are doing is on electric cars. So, the learning goals that I have for you all today are learning goals are to learn new words and practice pronunciation, pronunciation through reading, and to practice speaking to develop your fluency. So that is the learning goals I have for you all today, and we will be doing an exercise on the electric car. So it should be an interesting topic, depending on you, really. So, all right, as I wait for y'all to come, I will get my slide ready. For those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is Holly, and I'm actually out of Idaho in the USA. Right now it is 1:03 a.m. I am a night owl, which means I get a lot of energy at night, so that's why I'm teaching it this time. And Igor, can you speak?
Now I can't speak.
You can't speak at all. Yeah, it's really important to check y'all's microphone in the beginning, just because of the problems. And even if you go from one room to the other room, the first room it might be perfect, and then the second one, it's like the second hangout, it's not working at all. And I have that problem every once in a while, but not much. But some people do. But,
Well, it works for me pretty great. Just there is some time before it actually starts to respond, so it's just loading for a bit before
yeah.
it lasts.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why. Like sometimes I'll get kicked out, and I'll get this error. It's like a video error. Hangouts is stopped, or the entire computer will freeze. And this is a brand new. It's a refurbished but a brand new computer. Gently used beforehand. So it should be working fine.
Yeah. As you're about to join, there's some kind of error, you're kicked out, and the page refreshes, and you wait to join again, and sometimes even after that, it's a wish cycle sometimes.
Yeah, I've started noticing the signs, because for me it doesn't happen as much in the beginning of the lesson as it does in the middle or towards the end. And I'll start noticing. And the last time it happened, I actually told my student, I think it was during a tutoring session, I told him, I think I'm going to get kicked out. And that's when I go to the chat, and I try to write, and it won't let me. And everything's all kind of slow, and I'm like.
Sometimes what happens is when you wanna type something in the chat, somebody goes in. So the focus goes away from the chat. And for example, you just push backspace, and if you push backspace without putting anything in the chat, then it's going to just refresh. And when your page is about to refresh, then there is an error, and says like an error has occurred due to your browser problem. Then it refreshes. So sometimes it's like a fault.
Yeah, for me,
it's your own fault. Hitting backspace without anything.
Is that what happened? What happened? I'll have to be careful. I have to watch that, because that probably is what has happened.
No, sometimes when like you're halfway through typing something in the chat, somebody goes in, focus goes out, and you see there is some kind of typo in what you've written.
Yeah,
that's one of the backspace, and everything refreshes.
Yeah.
And, oh hell.
That's one thing I like about Skype. Since you're a Skype user, You know,
Yes.
you can correct, you can edit your things that you write in Skype. Did you know that? And I actually love it, and I get so frustrated when I'm on these chats where I can't edit.
Sorry, you can edit what you already sent.
Uh-huh. What you do is on your Skype, you right click and it will tell you it will give you the option to edit.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that
I
cool?
don't see any options like this.
Yeah, I've known this for about 7 years, and it's been like, uh,
I
uh,
see. I can
yeah,
copy it.
you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fun to tell people about it because most people don't realize they can do that. Um, but unfortunately, in Google Hangouts, we can't do it at all. So, where
I
is
think
everybody?
I think you know why, because Skype uses some kind of systems like if somebody is offline and you send
Uh-huh.
a message to them, then they're only gonna get this when you are both offline. The next time when you are both offline.
Yeah, that's one of the frustrating things about Skype as far as that
Yeah.
goes because
I think
because
that's
yeah.
why. I think that's why they can edit uh,
Uh-huh.
messages that's they're already in processing. They're already
Yeah,
being processed.
yeah, probably. You can edit it, when you're actually talking to somebody and chatting with them. But um, yeah, that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize is they'll send you a message. You'll send a message and they never get online, or they get online at a different time zone. And so, because I work internationally, I keep my Skype on 24/7. And so then people will send me an email or send me a Skype message and wonder why I'm not online. It's like, well, I'm not online 24/7, but my Skype is there so that I don't miss a message.
Well,
So,
there are a lot of people in my Skype, and they are always online. So there is
uh-huh.
no way to tell if they're really online.
That's
Just this.
me. I'd be one of those. And
Like
that's the
for that to just type hello, and that's all.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've had to teach a lot of people that the difference between Skype and a telephone is you have the luxury to actually send a message and say, "Hey, can we speak? Is this a good time?" And you could always the Skype newbies will always call you, and without sending a message. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes this happens. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I've done a little bit of teaching on Skype, but I don't like Skype teaching because there's uh well, I mean, Google Hangouts isn't any really all that difference because end up screen sharing and stuff like that. But yeah, there's other anyway. Yeah. So,
So
but I like
there is
Skype.
one thing I don't like about Google Plus, that the image you're sharing is really low resolution, and it
Oh,
doesn't matter.
really?
Yeah, it doesn't matter which kind of webcam you use. For example, my webcam is HD
Uh-huh.
1080p, so it's like
Okay.
full HD. And whenever I share my screen with people I know, they only see a low resolution video. I don't know why, but
Is that a
that's
is that Hangouts or Google Plus? Is it the same?
Hangouts. Hangouts.
Okay. Yeah.
They're actually the same, I think, like Google Plus Hangouts, they're called.
Okay. Okay. I'm not familiar with Google products as much. I mean, of course, I use a Google Drive all the time, and in fact, what do you do? Because it seems like every time you come into class, you put on Google Drive. Is that where you take notes?
No, I don't know. I don't really know why Google Drive really kicks in when I
Okay.
don't really want to, uh, get get to the bottom of it. It just
Okay. I see. Because I know that I know there is at least one teacher because I've seen the chats and stuff like that when she teaches she uses Google Drive.
well,
Yeah.
it's convenient. Sometimes
Yeah.
when I wanna make a note, I just
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah.
make a Google
So.
document of that.
Mhm. And I use it for a lot of different things. And then when redid the website, it's more difficult to we can no longer actually upload to the Verbally site the material. So I thought, oh, I'll just do Google Drive, no problem. So now I have a system in Google Drive with all my material, and I'm moving it from one like week numbers and stuff like that. So anyway, yeah. So we have several people who have reserved a class, but they are not here. So that does
Very
happen.
last. Very last.
They're less, yeah. So do you want to let's go over the material, or do you want to just continue talking and chatting?
I
It's
don't
up
know.
to you.
Let's go for the material. I don't know.
Okay, let's do it. It might encourage some people to come in. So, all right. So the topic is on electric cars, and so so you have the electric cars. So this is a quick quiz. So how much do you know about the electric car? So, or how much do you know about cars? So first, before we do this quiz, Igor, do you have a car?
Not yet.
Yeah. Are you planning on buying one in the near future?
Well, maybe, but not right now because
Uh-huh.
I don't really need it right now.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
like my workplace is 15 minutes away. Just
Mm-hmm.
walk.
Oh, really? Okay. And do you have a driver's license?
Not yet.
Yeah. Because I think that's quite situation as well where um, the people just don't have the need for a driver's license.
Well,
When
I will. Well, actually, I'm planning to
uh-huh,
undertake a test to get
uh-huh,
my driver license, but
uh-huh.
it's for mercantile reasons because our government they're raising the tariff to go through the test. They're really raising it like uh, half again. So that's
So what did you say again? Your government is what?
they're raising their money that you will have to pay
Oh, uh-huh.
to have
Yeah.
the ability to go through the test. It's like
Uh-huh.
their raising is half again. So
Oh,
it's a
really?
significant raise.
Okay. Yeah, because I know in Finland, one of the reasons I didn't drive, I had a driver's license in Finland like for the first 5 or 6 years that I was in Finland, but I never drove. And then I let my driver's license in the States go, and I thought about getting a license later on in Finland, and I learned that in order to do that, because I did not have an active license in the States, I would have to go through driver training, and it would cost about $1,500 to $2,000 or €2,000 to do. And I'm like, really? In the States, it's like $50. So
Well, you're lucky right
yeah.
now. So what's going to be is going to be like with the new tariff. Is it the right word, tariff?
A new tariff would be like a tariff usually has to do with taxes, but that's one of the words like what's another word that is a pension. Pension's another word that has different meanings depending on the country you're talking about. Um, so tariff also, I think,
Well,
also has a different meaning.
why I use this word because in Russia it's exactly the same word. We would say tariff.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So
Um,
the new tariff would be in USA dollars. It would be like uh, $900.
Okay, so when you use the word tariff, are you meaning a tax or duty to be paid? I'll just type in what I found.
Uh,
A tariff has to do with imports and exports.
well, I see experts in English, but in Russia, tariff is just the amount to pay for a service.
Okay, so yeah, so it's a different meaning. So, and we don't even use the word tariff in British English. I mean, excuse me, in American English.
And so, what's the right word for this?
So the price, the fee, The charge. So the government is charging us, or the fee for the class or for the test is at such and such price. So price, fee, and so it's basically the same as if you were going to pay for anything else. So okay, so as I was looking up tariff, how much is a driver's license in Russia?
Right now it's like $600.
Uh-huh.
It will be like more than 900, like almost $1,000.
Wow. Okay, about
$1,000. Significant raise.
Yeah, that is. That is. Is that because they want to encourage people to be non-drivers and to take public transportation?
I think so, yes, because in any major city there is this problem of traffic jams.
Mm-hmm.
They're really severe. Even here in Omsk, it's like where I live. So it's like only 1.5 million people here, but the traffic jams, they're just obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
Just can't navigate this town without getting at least into one traffic jam, and a big one.
Okay, wow. So you guys, I mean, you had that many traffic jams, and the thing is, I just kind of automatically assumed the part of Russia that you were living, that it would be it'd be like the western part of the U.S. where we just don't have, or the northern Midwest part of the U.S. where we don't have a lot of people. It's not populated very much, but you guys have a lot of people then.
Well, it depends where you are. Like, say,
what is the population of your city?
1.5 million people.
Okay, so that's a large city. Yeah,
it's like what this city is called is the capital of Siberia.
Uh-huh. So it's the capital of Siberia, so of course it would be the largest city. Are there tiny towns in Siberia then?
In the area of my city,
mm-hmm.
there are a lot of tiny towns there.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I kind of pictured Siberia. It's not like the Western U.S., kind of like the Canadian Northwest Territories.
Maybe, but there are like city centers, like where I live,
mm-hmm.
and everything that is around, usually it's just barren land. There is nothing there.
Oh, okay.
So it's like only military bases there, some oil refineries, so like factories. Really. Like if they wanna pollute, they do that where there are little people, just a few people.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. Well, let's look at this. The electric car. So a quick quiz. When was the first car sold? So, in your opinion, when was the first car sold?
I don't really know. I think
what is your guess?
Ford. It was a Ford car, yes?
Yeah, I think it was. Mm-hmm.
I think it was 1901.
Okay, it was actually 1875.
I see.
So, yeah, and I thought it was 1845, so we were both wrong. So, how many cars are made every year?
A lot. Really a lot.
That's a good, and 10 million would be a lot too. 50 million to all of these.
Well, just judging from the amount of cars on the streets, I would say it's easily at least 200 million cars a year.
Okay, actually, it's apparently 50 million.
Yeah. I just exaggerated a bit.
Yeah, you did, but because there are a lot of countries where there's not a lot of drivers, but but then you have the the countries where uh, in the U.S., for example, the average household has like two to three drivers and they have 5 cars maybe. So
I think cars, like as you said, driver license is cheap, and there is a great uh, what is used cars. There are a lot of used cars. They're like they sell used cars. There is a good market for this. In
yeah.
Russia, it's not really a great market. You
Oh,
can,
isn't.
yeah, you can still buy a used car, but it's like a 50-50 chance you can get. You should really know what kind of car you're going to buy. You should be technically savvy.
Savvy, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I wouldn't say technically savvy because when we think of technically savvy, it's somebody like you and I who's really good on the computers. Okay, but what I would say, savvy is a good word for that, but I would say mechanically,
Oh, yeah.
mechanically savvy. That would be a good word, or somebody who is. I think we would actually, instead of savvy for that one, we would say mechanically minded. Somebody who's really good at cars, are really good. They're mechanically minded. So okay. So how many cars are there in the world?
Well, there are 6 billion people, I think, in the
Huh?
world, and I think it would easily be at least 750 million cars in the
Yeah,
world.
and you were absolutely correct on that one. Did it help that I had this little blinky thing right there? So, but yeah, 750 million cars. But yeah, and that's actually a lot of cars. But we have 6 billion people too. So um, anyway, let's
Well,
read the following text and fill in the spaces using the words from the box below. Okay, so let's look at the words. We've got time, expensive, design, and towns.
okay.
Okay, and let's see should I write these up here so you can remember them or
I will just go along, you know,
okay. Okay. All
as I
right.
go along. I just put them in as I go along.
Okay. And what I'm going to do is after each paragraph, I will tell you the words that if there are any words that you need to work on pronouncing, and then I'll tell you that what they are. So,
Okay. It is estimated that there are 750 million cars in the world. Although the automobile was invented over 100 years ago, the basic life has changed little.
let's see. Basic
Design
design. Okay.
has
Has
changed
changed.
little.
Okay. So on that one, there's pretty one word that uh, it did not sound natural, and that was automobile.
Automobile.
And so what you did, it was this last part that you didn't pronounce right.
Yeah,
So
mobile.
automobile. Okay.
Yeah. How could I forget this?
Now,
I've heard this phrase like, "This is a fine automobile."
yeah. Okay, but I wonder, because I see. I'm trying to think. Mobile phone. I wonder if the British actually say automobile? And I don't think they do. I think they say automobile too.
Well, I can just check it.
I don't know. I don't know that.
I can check it, no problem. I have
Okay.
a lot of dictionaries at hand.
Yeah,
Autom-
with the pronunciation. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next paragraph.
well, looks like it's automobile.
It is in British
In
as
either
well.
countries, yeah.
Okay, good. All
Okay.
right.
In recent years, there have been attempts to create a car which doesn't need to use gasoline. There are many reasons. Gasoline, yes,
Yeah, exactly. I was going to tell you afterwards, but yeah.
gasoline. There are
Uh-huh.
many reasons for this. Some people are worried that oil is running out. Also, exhaust fumes from cars pollute air in cities, towns,
Towns and cities, yeah.
towns and cities.
Okay, what's the difference between a town and a city?
Well, city is a big major center, like a really big town, and the town just a little center, like maybe I think it's more about population, like town maybe less than 400 people, 400,000 people, and the
Okay.
city is a really big thing, like.
Okay. Well, it gets a little bit more confusing than that, just to let you know. And since you're at a higher level, I can go over this with you. Normally, that's what we explain, that a town is smaller, and cities are the big, New York City, Chicago, Moscow, those are the cities. And the towns would be like where I live, it's 850 people, right? We
Hmm.
have we don't even have we have to go somewhere else to buy things, right? Um, but in reality, a city is incorporated.
What do you mean?
Okay, so in the States, like the town I live in a city. It's called the City of Greenleaf because it's incorporated. So all depends on the money. depends on it depends on how uh, the the fiscal, the financial situation works with it. And normally, in the states, at least in the U.S., most towns are cities. So it gets really confusing if you were to come over here and, for example, my brother-in-law works at the city hall for a town of 850 people. And foreigners are like, huh? What? Why do they call it a city? They call it a city hall, and it's because it's an incorporated, which means
So,
it's
what do you exactly mean by incorporated? Is there
they
a company there or something?
well it's kind of set up like a company, but it's set up as it's set up for the city government. It's set up as a city government where you might have an unincorporated town, which is not in that respect. If there's an unincorporated town, the tax dollars go to the county and not the city.
No, I see. So it's like there
It,
is their own, like if there is a mayor, then it's a city, like
exactly.
local
Yeah.
government.
Exactly. Now we still do say that a town is smaller and a city is larger, but in reality, if you look at the deeper part of the way things are run, uh, in the States at least, most very small towns like the one I live in is really in reality a city.
I see.
So it gets really kind of muddy in that respect. But your response, the difference between a city of town and town is actually correct, but it gets muddy. And every country is a little bit different as well. And since we really need to be concentrating on world English instead of American English or British English, then that makes a difference as well. So, all right, let's go on. Next one.
Many people think that electric-powered cars will be very successful in the future. The advantages are clear. Electricity is easy to produce, and the cars do not emit any pollution.
Okay, so say advantages again.
Advantage, advantages.
Okay, the advantages are clear. Okay, that's fine. Okay, next paragraph.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, designers of electric cars have found many problems. The main challenge is trying to create an efficient battery. It is difficult to design a battery that lasts a long time. Battery-powered cars are also slower than regular cars.
Perfect.
And
Okay.
now I'm a little bit tired, especially
Yeah.
in my tongue.
What? Excuse me?
I'm a little bit tired in my tongue.
Are you a little bit tired in your town?
My tongue,
What about your town?
not town, tongue.
Oh, you're
Uh,
a little bit tired in your time.
no, 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 no.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to say this word. Oh, this word.
Tongue. Oh, okay. My tongue is really tired. Okay. Yeah, because you're talking the whole time and you're not normally with these verbaling classes, you don't have to.
Yeah.
So do you end up with these one-to-one sessions every once in a while, or is this the first time?
That's the first time for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, there were, it's like I had private classes.
Oh yeah.
There, it was expected to be,
Uh-huh.
just one-on-one. Or, and I've never, it's never been one-on-one in
In a
a
group.
group class. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I was told actually when I went through the first meeting and they showed me hangouts and the verbaling, like I call it the verbaling way. I was told that many times that you'll have a class where you'll have 9 people reserve and 2 people there. And,
Yeah,
and
that's what I learned. Like the first time, like when I was in UB here at Verbling, like
uh-huh,
I've seen a class that was uh, said was gonna be full,
uh-huh.
so I won't go there. But right now I see that if all the seats are reserved, it doesn't really mean that you won't be able to get a place there.
Yeah.
Usually,
Yeah.
usually you will get a place and there will be some room for other
Uh-huh.
people to join.
Yeah, I noticed though that one of the things I did notice is during the time when there wasn't the ability to get to see the classes, the what was it, about 2 weeks, where the you didn't have the live feed. Almost
Hmm.
all the classes were full, and now that there's a live feed, it's not the case as much anymore. So it's like okay,
Maybe I see what's going on. Like I remember when I was not so advanced, maybe
uh-huh,
maybe I'm not so advanced at all, but when I was just a
yeah,
beginner, it was
uh-huh,
really, I was really shy to talk.
uh-huh,
And sometimes, I would find any excuse not to join the class.
uh-huh. But
Just
you have no problem watching it. Yeah.
yeah, you see, we have another viewer right now.
Is it possible that lasers are a long journey? Lasers a long journey.
Last a long journey, I think it was a typo. Like there is a
That lasts a long journey. Oh, we're not finished with this. Oh, that's right, your tongue. A battery that lasts a long journey. Okay, it is difficult to design a battery that lasts a long journey. No, it's not possible to use journey for that word. Um, lasts a long journey. And that would sound very strange, Dan. Thank you
what
for
about
asking.
if you are saying a battery that is able to last for a long journey?
Yes, but a battery that lasts a long journey, it sounds strange to me. But a battery that is able to last a long journey, but even then, I mean, you might, I don't know. You might be able to do that.
English is subtle.
Yeah, there's so many, when you first learn it, it's like, oh, this seems to be easy, and then you start realizing how much you don't know, especially as teachers. The longer we teach, the less we realize, the less we know. So
Well, I think it's the case with any language.
I think
In fact,
so. Yeah.
it may look like an easy job, like something that is easy to learn, but
Uh-huh.
the more you delve into it, the more you realize that you can't really deal with it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember when, of course, I've been doing the English teaching except for a couple years where I took a break for 20 years, and when I first started teaching, explaining the difference between in time and on time, for example, I couldn't do it. I was like, I didn't know. Or just really subtle things like you asked today, the difference between easygoing and outgoing. Um, I would never have been able to do that 20 years ago.
So you improve.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, and you learn, and you also learn what are really good, what are common mistakes that people make, and things like that. You're welcome, Dan. And well, you can look at a text, and then you can, if you know what level your students are, you know whether it will be easy or difficult, and which words will be easy and difficult. It's all based on experience. So
I
anyway,
see.
yeah. Anyway, let's go on.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to read
Technology,
it?
technology is improving, however. One solution is the hybrid car. This uses both electricity and gasoline. Hybrid cars are already popular in many countries. There are still some problems that need solving before the battery-powered car becomes more common. Although running costs are low, buying an electric car is very expensive. There is also the question of where the driver can recharge the car's battery. Although electric cars are not common now, it's very likely electric cars will replace gasoline vehicles sometime in the future.
Okay. And very good at the vehicle. I know that the V and the W can be kind of tricky. But you did a good job at pronouncing that. I think one reason that you feel like your tongue got tired is the actual reading, because you were reading words that you don't normally say.
I think I know the reasons. Like, I've been going through this course about pronunciation.
Oh, yes, that's right.
There was one thing that they mentioned, like in a lot of European languages, we usually project our voice on the front of our mouth. So, and I tried to really realize, just watch after myself when I speak Russian, and realize it was true. But Americans usually do much more work in the rear tongue.
That's true.
About tongue. So right now I'm trying to do this. I don't know if I can do this, but I really, like my rear tongue is really tired right now.
Yeah, and that is really the truth. And one thing that's once you learn as a language learner where your tongue needs to be, it makes it's you have to practice the tongue, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's working well. So
yeah, I know. It's like I was recording myself like I usually speak using this rear tongue thing. I was able to hear some subtle difference, but not much of a difference.
Yeah, it is very, very subtle. So yeah. And I mean, you do have it's a slight accent, that we were talking about in the last class, but it is not that big enough to really notice and to be concerned about. And you pronounced every one of these words correctly, except for the ones I told you about. You like, for example, if you were talking to my folks, they would not have a problem understanding you at all. Non-native.
You just didn't meet me. You just didn't meet me when I was just a beginner.
Exactly. No, at that point, probably you probably had a stronger accent, and one of the problems that you get, that a lot of, like I said, a lot of people with strong accents, what they try to do is they try to speak fast. So the faster you speak with a foreign accent, the less we understand.
But right now, I'm all about speed. I really want a great speed.
Yeah, but that comes actually in time. It's better to make sure that you're pronouncing everything correctly, and then the speed will come. And I think your rate is actually perfectly fine. I don't think it's too fast, and I don't think it's too slow. So I think you're right at the.
Too, but sometimes, like a lot of people, they stutter when they speak. That's okay if you need some time to think of a word. I realized that the most time I stutter, that's because I can put words together.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce them right.
Okay. For me, I do that too, and for me, it's just because I totally forget the words. So I ended up reading the little introductory. I don't know if you've watched that introductory thing on the Verbling profile that we all had to make. I ended up having to read it because I realized when I was talking, I listened to myself and I was like, like half the time I'm like, I can't edit that out. So I read it. So,
I know the feeling. It's like even in the native language, you got a lot of times when you just stutter.
hmm yeah,
Like,
you do. It's just, and I remember one time when I was working for a school out of Germany, and she asked me to give a presentation, an online presentation, about a project that we did in China. And I initially said no, and she's the type of boss. She was the type of boss who didn't hear the word no. And so she, it was on the website that I would be presenting this, this thing, and I'm like, oh man. And I went and I was so uncomfortable. I was umming and ahhing through the whole thing. Um, 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 um. But everybody liked it. It was fine. So, but
yeah,
that was about 7 years ago.
the results are what really matters.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Now we've got, let's match the two halves of the collocations. So we are running the battery. The problem was regular cars emit. Running costs are some batteries. And we've got low, solved, a lot of pollution, out of gas, can be recharged, lasts a long time.
Okay.
Okay. So
We
number
we
one,
are we are running out of gas.
out of gas, yes, to be run out of gas.
By the way, we are running low on something. I think also great.
Yes, we are running low. You can say that like we are running low on oil.
Yeah.
We are running low and low on a lot of stuff. Yes. Okay. The battery
Can be recharged.
can be recharged. That works, but there's another one as well.
Lasts a long time.
Yes. Okay, and the problem was,
Solved.
yeah, that's the only choice on that one. Okay, regular cars emit,
A lot of pollution. No.
yeah, yes, it has to be. Let me check the answer just in case. Yeah, it has to be
It's like
a lot of
can you
pollution.
emit pollution? It's usually like emit radiation.
Yeah, I guess we do emit radiation. Emit is a word that I don't actually think of ever using. It's in,
Usually just give off. Yes.
yeah, what, excuse me?
Just gives off radiation, for example.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, it gives off. I guess I would never talk about this in my regular life.
No problem.
Yeah. So, number 5, running costs are.
Expensive. And there is no such word yet.
So the answer would be low, low, but we'll put expensive too because it's true. Depending on what country you're in. I mean, I remember when I was in graduate school, and this was probably, I don't remember how old you are, but this was in 1996. I was in graduate school, and the average tank of gas, and not tank, but average, average gas, you could get gas for $1.10. $1.10. Now, in 2014, it's $3.65 on average.
That's inflation.
It's gotten really expensive.
Well, that's inflation for you.
Yeah, I know it's inflation, but it still sucks. So,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Some batteries
Can be recharged.
can be recharged, or some batteries last a long time.
Well, usually no battery lasts a long time.
Yeah.
Especially if it's smartphone.
Well, yeah, cell phones don't. Uh,
Like,
how how long does your cell phone last?
well, I have to recharge it every day.
Mine too, and I'm like, do I really need to do this? Why? Why? So,
It's like, I, for example, if there was a cell phone that can last for a long time, it would be a bestseller.
yeah, it would be
It's like I don't
definitely.
understand why they don't research into whether
Uh-huh.
it
What
does
kind?
put more, firepower, but it
Uh-huh.
doesn't really matter right now for a cell
Yeah.
phone. They all work just great.
Hmm. But what kind of cell phone is really popular in your country? What
Well, I
what is
think the most popular are Android-based phones.
Android? Like, is it Samsung, Sony, or LG, or
Well, I usually see Samsungs
okay, okay,
and also iPhones, but they're the kids, I think, in every country.
yeah. Oh, I lived when was living in Finland. It was a Nokia.
Well,
Uh,
I think because it's a Finnish company.
yeah, yeah, it's because it's a Finnish company, and Nokia was the major thing. And I felt like a traitor when I came here and I got my first non-Nokia phone.
Well, like when in the 19s, there were a lot of Nokias.
Uh-huh.
So, and like everybody had a Nokia.
Oh yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
that I wonder what it's like over there now since Nokia, kind of merged with Windows and now they're part of Microsoft. I wonder what the Finns are doing as far as their phones now.
Well, things can be really loyal, so they still use Nokia, I think.
You think so? I don't know. I will have to see.
Now, do
So
you have any friends from Finland right now? Just ask them.
yeah, well they have. I know that what I was really surprised when I came to the States, there was only one in the shop that I was getting my phone. There was only one Nokia phone, and it sucked. It was a really bad one, and there was so many nice choices for Nokia phones in Finland. And I'm like, what? What's going on here? So, okay, on to talking about cell phones. Number one, my cell phone is dead. I need to what the battery?
Recharge.
Recharge the battery. Yes. Okay, that factory what? A lot of pollution into the air.
Emits.
Emits. Yes. Modern refrigerator. I can't speak this. Modern refrigerators have low what?
Low costs. Have
There's a lot of
low,
choices on that one.
low efficiency.
Yeah, you were actually right. Low running costs.
Running costs.
Running costs. Yeah. So, okay, and the next one, we
Uh,
must go soon. We are,
we are out of time. Running out of time.
yeah, running out of time.
Or can I just say we are out of time?
We can. We must go to running out is running out of, but you can also say we are out of time.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. Yes. Okay, next one, number 5. The technician managed to
Solve the problem.
solve the problem. Yes. And then the battery on my new MP3 player.
Uh, lasts for over 20 hours.
I don't believe that. I really don't.
Well, if you don't listen to anything.
Yeah, if you don't listen to anything. I mean, the battery on my iPad will last for days if I do nothing. so,
Yeah. By
so
the way, I think there is a verb like you can solve a problem, yeah,
yeah.
but there
Hmm.
is a specific verb that describes like there is a solution to problem, but the solution is like not really great, but it's like a rush solution just to address the problem. There is a verb for this. I don't know. I don't remember it, but I know there is.
A rush solution?
Yeah, like just generate a solution to make other people,
Okay, the only one that I'm thinking of, and I don't think that it's the word you're thinking of, is a half-ass. A half-ass. You can say a half-ass job, maybe a half-ass solution. But I don't think that's what you're thinking.
Yeah, it's not. It's like what I
Um,
was trying to describe. Like, for example, companies they tend to have a lot of problems. Yes,
yes.
and
Okay.
like there is a really bad problem. Their customers start to complain, and the
hmm
company comes up with a solution.
A
But
temporary?
like, yeah, it's not a temporary. It's an okay solution, but it's not really great solution. It's like
Mm,
the solution was made up just to shut people off, shut them up.
I can't think of what that would be.
It's
I
like
totally
it's a
I totally
curve
understand you.
solution.
No, I can't think of what it would be. 'Cause all I can think of is half-ass. It's okay,
Maybe
temporary
maybe
solution.
maybe bail out maybe.
Yeah, but bailout. I mean, that could be a solution, like the government bailed out the banks and in 10 years ago, but they. I can't say that that was actually a solution.
Half baked solution.
Half-baked solution.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's more like half-ass. So maybe half-baked.
but
Um,
but still not the same. There was a
yeah.
specific verb, not a word, but a verb.
Let's see. To solve, to eradicate. No.
Well, eradication is a great thing.
Yeah, I don't think that's the word you're
Well,
thinking of,
well,
though. To eradicate the problem. That's to get rid of. That wouldn't be it.
I,
To
oh, that's okay. No problem. It's like I don't want you to just uh,
yeah.
boggle your mind over this.
Yeah, no, there's sometimes I always say in Finland I used to say, oh man, it's so cold, I've got a brain freeze right now. So
No, that's.
every
I
once
think
in a while
I
you
think
run into
this verb may be slang.
it might be slang, yeah. I'm definitely sure it is. I know that half-assed and half-baked is that is slang, but but I can't. I'm thinking win-loss. No, I mean that's a solution, a win-win or a win-loss, but that's not also not. I don't think that's what you're thinking
No,
either.
maybe this will help you. Like, for example, when somebody writes a book, there is a plot there, and for example, they're writing a series of books, and there are a lot of plot errors there, and they just create a patch to make those plot errors seamless. And I think that's where the first
Where it
time
came from. Yeah, I don't. That it still escapes me. Sorry. This is the
no
second
problem.
question you've asked. What was the first question you asked a couple hours ago that I didn't know? I wonder if I'll know it now.
I forgot
Oh,
it.
you've already forgotten. Okay. Because you know those what happens with those kind of questions.
Well,
Um, Usually you wake up in the middle of the night remembering the word.
yeah, that's true.
That happens
Like
to me all the time. It's like, oh man, why didn't I remember that? That was such a simple word.
when
So
asking these questions, because right now the real problem for me is really enlarge my vocabulary. Oh my god.
yeah, uh-huh,
It's like there are a lot of new words every day.
uh-huh.
I just fail to remember them.
Yeah, yeah. So what does
Like
mean? What?
usually because like when you're a beginner, you learn a
Uh-huh,
lot of words, and those
uh-huh.
words are really useful, and you
Mm-hmm.
use them a lot. And words that uh, come across right now, they're just an addition to
Mm-hmm.
what we already
Exactly.
have. That's why I don't really use them. That's why I forget them.
Yeah, and well, that's actually the case with all with so many native speakers. We only have a certain set of vocabulary words as personalities that we all use based on our education and based on the word choices we like. And then we have a whole, thousands and thousands of words that we just understand. And
Yeah,
so one thing that what is good to do is to to increase your passive vocabulary. Hey, I've learned this word. I don't know if I'll ever use it, but I'll learn it. That's passive. And then if you want to actually activate those words, then you can start using that. And a lot of times what I like to do is to help people learn to activate the words that they've already known but they've never used.
yeah. And I think
So,
that's the problem. Really, the problem. It's like
uh-huh.
I feel like I have a really huge passive vocabulary.
Yeah, you do.
Most of those words I would never say them.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, and like there's usually for every lesson there's always one word that or one something. It's either I've never used it because it's British, or it's a word I know. It's I not have any problem even explaining what it means, but I don't use it.
Yeah.
So and I think that's the case with everybody. It's just important to and what's frustrating for you is you're now way beyond even. You're at an advanced level of English, and you're like, okay, what else do I need to know? And so now you get into the deeper parts of the language, and that can even be even more confusing, and so forth.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's true. There are a lot of things that still confuses me.
Mm-hmm.
Confuse.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's the. Do you remember? I think I've told you the difference between an error and a mistake.
I don't know. What would it
Okay,
be?
so an error. First of all, a mistake.
Well, mistake.
Mistake.
I
Okay,
think are more like
it's a slip.
technical.
Well, it's a slip of the tongue, or it's, for example, when you caught me last time with when I wrote R instead of is. That was a mistake. I'd read it and I'd fix it myself. So it's a slip of the tongue, or it's or you've just done it. You know the rules, you know the correct way it should be. It's a slip of the tongue. Okay.
Yeah.
Like a lot of ones with at certain levels of English, people might say he like her instead of he likes her. That's just a slip of the tongue. Now then there's an error. An error is it's also a mistake. It's a problem in the language that you do not know that you're making. So don't know you are doing. For example, the difference between in time and on time. Okay, a lot of people don't know that there's a difference between that. Or this is a common error that a lot of people use, is when they use the verbs discuss and explain, they want to use about after that. So let's discuss about the situation, or let's explain about the situation. That is an error because everybody uses it, but and it's something that that you're going to, at your point, at your level, as language teachers, it's important for us to find your errors and for you to find your errors. And these are mistakes that are problems in the language that you don't know you are doing. And as language teachers, we can be really picky, and we can try to pick every single mistake that a person's making, and discourage them. Or you listen to them, and the longer you hear them, then you start to hear the errors. If that makes sense. Yeah, but it's so every teacher is a little bit different. But that's one of the reasons I don't worry as much about when I hear a mistake and it's a slip of the tongue, or I hear a Spanish person pronounce the J wrong. I won't say that. I won't correct them every time. I'll just correct them half the time. So it depends on how many times I hear them say the J wrong. But if they say major, and then they say another word with a J and it's wrong, then it's just a slip of the tongue and they'll fix it themselves. But anyway, it's been nice working with you today, Igor. I think you made it through all 3 of my classes in a row, so that's very impressive. So, yeah, me too. I don't know if I'll go to sleep, but I will rest. So, okay, thank you. You have a great day.
Thank you very much for this lesson.
You're welcome.
All the best
Bye.
to you around.
Thank you. Bye.